You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny podcast, episode 34. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it may be in your part of the world, and welcome to our 34th episode of the Paracasual Destiny podcast. I'm Sultime, and I'm here as usual with Greenstego, Romance Girl, and Sally Bug. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Oh, there's Sally Bug. For a minute, I thought we lost you.
Or hoped you lost me.
Yeah, we were.
Oh.
You can always hope. One can always hope. So
Infighting in the fire team.
yeah, of course, Greenstego, you come from an extensive gaming background. Am I correct on that?
I've been gaming for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Do you remember the first game you played, or at least the first one you really engaged in and was like, okay, I like this?
Probably Sonic 2.
And you were playing it on a Sega product?
Yes, on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, yes. The Genesis.
I
Which,
think internationally known as the Sega Master System.
yeah, oh, no, that was different.
No?
That was that was the predecessor to the Genesis. The SMS, the Sega Master System, is what I had. And
Ooh.
That was it. Was that their
was
first,
the
the Sega Master System?
that was their
First
8-bit
console?
offering. That was going up against NES at that time. The
Mm.
Nintendo Entertainment
Right.
System. Those were the 8-bit competitors.
I thought there was another. I thought Sega had another one before Genesis came along, but I could be wrong.
No, just, the
Sega's
Sega
history.
It was the Sega Master System.
It
Remember
was
the
the Master
controller was that
System.
little square controller, rectangular controller
Right, and
with,
then the
with the D-pad.
And then the Genesis. And then Saturn.
Yep,
Saturn.
And then, of course, the great eternal Dreamcast,
Oh,
which is probably still, to this date, the best gaming system ever to grace the world with its presence.
What a golden age.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Where
so
are going?
we could talk for hours about the golden age, but I just wanted to give folks a little background. We've gotten a few messages saying, "Hey, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are and who you guys are and what your background is?" And of course, I think 3/4 of us are teachers, and so we are definitely casual Destiny players, except for in the summertime. We have some hardcore moments in the summertime, and that's about it. And that summertime
Which
is
is on
arriving
its
quickly.
way.
It's on its way. We stand here at
Oh
May
my
5th.
gosh, I can taste it.
It's in the air.
For me,
In fact, it
Yeah,
started all
Greenstego.
but started for Greenstego, right?
it really has. Friday was my last day. It was
Oh,
work day.
congratulations.
I was done at 11 o'clock. I just needed to pack up my room, and there wasn't a lot to pack this year.
Yeah.
Didn't really.
Yeah, cleaning up is
Okay.
hopefully
I'm gonna
we're gonna
have to change the subject here because that's reminding me of all the stuff I have to do over the next 2 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah. Let's not get stressed out.
No, we're here to forget about the world. And so, forgetting about this world and addressing the world of Destiny 2. There was a lot that's happened, really, in the last 2 weeks. I know, Sally Bug, you said, oh, not a lot has happened. Maybe we could postpone. And I was like,
I actually, no.
Let's keep up with it.
No.
Let's keep up with
No.
this.
It
Yes.
seems like a false dialogue to illustrate a point.
I feel like
Not
this
a
is
whole lot
false
has happened. We can
dialogue.
postpone. That's
I
what she
did-
said yesterday.
I actually said, should we postpone? But I never precursored that with not a lot has happened.
No, you
You're
didn't
saying he's using
precursor
his
it.
art-
You said it afterwards. You said,
No,
Well, Time,
I
are
didn't.
you
I never
Plato?
said it.
Because it
Not a
sounds
lot
like you're
has
using
happened.
false dialogue to illustrate a point.
Yeah, that's
it's
like
very platonic, yes.
artistic/journalistic license, where as you're like recalling an interview, you can just like add in words that they said to help illustrate their point.
Yeah, it's called cherry
The
picking.
only reason I had recommended postponing is because you hadn't uploaded our last show
Oh, wow.
yet.
Oh, the
Whoa.
truth comes out.
So, hey, look,
So
if
it
you're
was
going to call me
just-
out,
False
call me
dialogues
out, I'll
and
call
dirty
you out.
laundry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this
Passive aggressive.
I think you know what? Maybe we should postpone this episode. I'm about ready to just end stream.
Aww.
No. We decided we were going to just we're going to push
Good night,
on
Guardians.
through.
Now we have
It
to.
was-
Yeah,
End of your tiredness or not.
yeah. I'm definitely
End of school,
tired. I think
you're
we're all
tired.
tired
Let's-
this morning, aren't we?
Let's go ahead and expunge this
Segue.
conversation from the record.
Oh, you heard
Great
it here, folks.
segue.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. And so
Speaking of expunge,
Speaking of expunge, rhymes with
there's been
splunge.
two of them.
Yeah.
Has everyone in our
Inner circle.
group, our Paracasual Destiny podcast, had a chance to try both of them?
Yes.
Yes, for me.
Yes.
Yes, we've done
Yes, for
them
me.
once each.
Although
we
there
haven't
is-
we haven't run them more than once.
Oh man, there is a request in the chat to have minimal spoilers on the latest Splicer quest, please.
Well, if
That's
expunge
doable.
is included, avert
Well, we're just
your
talking about the
eyes
mission
and
in
ears.
general on whether we've done it.
Yeah, well,
But we will
Okay.
talk about
that's
it.
why Greenstego.
We're not
is
gonna
bringing it
spoil
up,
the-
like,
Yeah, what was the first one? Was the labyrinth, or are they both called the labyrinth? They're just different.
No, the first one's called Labyrinth.
Okay.
That's the and they both start kind of the
Sticks.
same way with
the other one was called Sticks.
That's right. Sticks.
That's right. That's
The
right.
latest
Sticks.
one.
Like
So,
liver sticks, viewers.
and yeah, it's an interesting little. I like to have these little missions outside of the override
Yeah. I think this
mission, like
combined with
having
the
something
override
else to
makes
do,
for a happy
but that is
season.
related to the story, right?
Well,
So
yes. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
it's fun.
We've got to unlock these secrets in order to save ourselves. So, yes, it is related to the story.
We're trying to get
Directly.
out of the endless night.
I am very into this Vex, colorful neo-pop aesthetic.
Love the Vex network.
I am loving the aesthetic. Absolutely, I
Yeah.
love the aesthetic so much.
I think it gets a
I think
I've got that
paracasual thumbs
I
up.
think I've got that neo pop on
I
like
give-
shader
I
on
give it-
everything I wear. Pretty much.
I give it 3 buckets
It's like
of
the
popcorn.
first thing I do when I get on is, okay, what what armor am I gonna wear? And does it have the Neopop shader on it?
Yeah, neopop. That's a whole new movement, I think, in video game art aesthetics, right?
It's new and it's old.
Well,
Yeah,
Neopop.
it's a little. It's retro future.
and in addition to the expunge missions coming out the last 2 weeks, something else dropped.
What could that
was
be?
exciting and fun.
I wonder what it was.
Let's hear your best Atheon impression.
Oh, was it the Vault of Glass?
Not gonna happen.
The Vault of Glass. Yes.
The Vault of Glass.
Le
Caveau
Vault de
de
Verre.
Verre.
Le Caveau de Verre.
Caveau.
Oh,
Yeah, they call it
We
the
looked it up.
okay.
glass cave.
Localization is important on this podcast.
Yes, it is. Le Caveau de Verre. For all our French listeners,
Caveau, the Caveau de
we
Verre.
want to make sure they know what we're talking about.
Nice.
Oh, our French-speaking listeners. I know we have a few fans in Quebec, and one fan in the Brittany region of France, I believe. So, yeah, that's nice.
Brittany.
I don't.
Brittany.
Yeah. I wonder, is there technology where you could listen to a foreign podcast and just have it translate, like while you're listening to it? That'd be cool.
I think you're talking about those like
Babelfish.
I mean, they're generating subtitles easier now, so I can see how that would translate to
yeah.
It's gonna
better
happen.
Pretty rough,
translations. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're really looking for are those like aliens from Star Trek that you can like put in your ear.
I thought that was Men in Black.
I thought that was Hitchhiker's Guide to the
I
Galaxy.
thought it was Men in Black too.
There is one in Hitchhiker's Guide, though.
Yeah, the Babelfish.
Yeah, that's the Babelfish.
We're too tired for this podcast. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
And we're moving on.
So,
All right, let's
So,
talk about the Vault of Glass.
Vault of
Now,
Glass, unlike
we-
Expunge, I think only 50% of the Paracasual crew here with you today has experienced Vault of Glass, the new Vault of Glass. But
The new
everybody's
one.
experienced the
Yes.
original, right?
Stego and
Yeah.
Romance Girl have not gone in yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh well, we need to remedy that.
Yeah.
This weekend, maybe
Well-
It's a
Sunday.
harrowing journey. Harrowing.
Maybe Sunday.
Maybe.
Possibly Sunday, depending on what time we finish up with stuff. I
Yeah.
will just say, you're in for a treat. It's good fun. The update is appropriate, and I think they hit it out of the park for a reissued raid, honestly. Sallybug, what's your take?
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint. Like there's enough of the old raid that you're not disappointed in the nostalgia piece of it. It's like, oh, why would they have taken that out type of thing. But also new enough to provide that challenge. Right? It's not 100% like, and it's not just that they added like annoying yellow bar wyverns, right? They added enough
Spoilers.
differences
Hello.
without doing spoilers.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, there were going to be wyverns in it. That's not a spoiler.
Well, okay. If you say so. I don't think this is a spoiler. Atheon is in it still. Yeah.
And the Templar. So
Yeah, all the old
All your
favorites are
faves
it
back.
was
are back.
fun.
All the faves are back with little
All your faves
twists.
are back.
Now, some people were a little
There's some
disappointed
twists
that
and
it
twists,
wasn't wrapped
mechanics.
in the storyline. Did
Yeah.
that bother you?
Yeah, that it just kind of dropped. It
Yeah,
sort
the
of
only
does
connection
because
is
look,
Vex.
it's a Vex. It's a Vex raid. I mean, honestly, just needed to do one dialogue, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say this?
And
If I'm
one
looking
voiceover to connect the two.
if I'm looking for something to complain about in the game, there's so many bigger fish to fry than trying to
I
connect the
think
Vault
what
of
I-
Glass
yeah, I
with the
think
storyline.
They don't even with these kinds of things. It's harder to line up with the story, because they don't know when it's going to actually
Right.
be done and ready to drop.
I mean, right.
I never
guess,
felt like out of the
like for
world,
me, it's just
honestly.
like
Yeah, true.
it just feels like you could have easily just Mithrax said, go into the Vault of Glass.
But you
I'm gonna
can't
send
with the
you
way
back
the
to
timelines
Venus.
are set up. Like that's not like a phone call you can just make. Those things need to be set up.
Right. I hear you. I, yeah.
That being
so
said,
slightly
I'm a fan
disjointed,
of the.
but not that.
I'm a fan of reprise stuff from Destiny 1 in general, so I'm excited to give it a go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I love the fresh.
It's a
fresh
connected
additions.
universe, right? We're the same guardian, so it's nice to have that. So, like, to feel like connected to what our guardian was doing in the first.
Well, some of us are the same guardian. Some of us started
Chapter.
over.
Really? Who started over?
Right.
Bro.
Wow, I did not
I mean,
know
not
that.
me personally, just people who made a new character when they started Destiny 2.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know why you would
I mean,
do
there
that.
are people who like there's people in our clan who like never even played Destiny 1. So this is like a full on new experience for them. So I'm happy for them to have that because there's a lot of great stuff from D1 and for them to be able to bring it back and experience it. It's great. All good. It was all fun. I highly recommend trying to get a fire team together, put an LFG out in our Discord, and let's do this. Let's figure out a way to get it done. And summer's coming up,
Yeah.
which
You're
means
breaking up a
our
little bit,
schedules
Sallybug.
will
I
be
would
a little
suggest
weird.
disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah.
See if that helps.
Okay, I can do that.
Moving right along from Volta Glass, and we're referencing the May 27th TWAB a couple weeks back. Kevin Yanis addressed some PvP concerns, evidently, in that TWAB, and I just sent Sallybug on her way. I can't remember what he was talking about. The weapons are the primary way players engage with combat. Non-super abilities accentuate or augment the combat, but should rarely solve an encounter by themselves. Okay. So they're going for that balance between gunplay and ability. Abilities have clear strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay. Build crafting is rewarding within the moment-to-moment combat loop of Destiny. I'm not even sure I know what that means. Within the moment-to-moment they just I think they're just saying they want build crafting to still be a part.
Yeah, but they don't want the build crafting to be like you have infinite grenades that freeze people and kill them instantly.
Right.
Yeah, I think the build crafting is like having to do with like using the mod system to your advantage, or like the aspects and fragments and putting those on to have them have like to feel like they make a difference, but not break the game or break the experience.
Right. And
am I better? Is that better? Do I sound better?
Much better. I think they addressed some of this in an interview they did more recently with the Firing Range podcast. That's part of the Destiny community podcast umbrella. And let me see if I can highly recommend listening
we
to that.
stared listening to that, right? We listened to about half of it. And it's just really great to get I feel like a podcast hasn't done that in a while, like taken someone from actually some developers and actually communicate with them. So, and we talked about this and
the old Crucible Radio used to do it, remember? They used to get
and a couple of
Sandbox guys on
previous podcasts. We were saying how they've been radio silent, so they have come out and they're giving their view, their vision of what they're feeling for PvP. And they're putting themselves out there and talking about it, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's positive. If you're looking for a response to the fact that there's been no new Crucible maps, or a lot a lot of attention given to different crucible modes or new
Anti-cheat.
modes.
There's a
That's
few
not
things
the
they're
interview.
not talking about.
They're not talking about that. They're talking about
Yeah.
more along the lines of what's been going on with Stasis and how they goofed on that and what they're doing to make things better, and this balance between
And just the
gunplay and
internal
abilities.
weapon versus ability gameplay within the PvP sandbox
Yeah.
is what they're talking about. So
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yep,
It's
definitely give it a
great to hear
listen.
their side on all that stuff. What do we have next, Sally Bug?
they gave some clarification because I think in the calendar they had said that expunge mission was going to drop a pinnacle piece of gear, but that doesn't happen until everyone has there was a reason
Until the pinnacle
why
version comes
it
out.
wasn't dropped.
Oh,
Right.
until
It's not a pinnacle drop right away.
Okay.
It's going to sometime in the next couple of weeks, I think. I think when Grandmasters come, is that what you said? Romance Girl?
That's not what I said, but what sounds about right. I mean,
I didn't hear
I
what
thought
you
there was
said.
I thought there was going to be like a more difficult version that would grant a pinnacle. Is how I understood
Oh, yeah, that might be. But for right now, what drops from this mission instead is a piece of high stat armor and that's the way to get your high stat gear, seasonal gear. So
Instead
if you're
of the
one of
season
those,
pass.
right, instead of getting it off the season pass, you get it from doing these expunge missions. I didn't look exactly at I know I probably got the drops, but didn't really look at it or look at the stats of it to see what the.
I'm just reading
I
the
know I
Wharf
got
discussion.
a couple 60 plus
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
gear,
That's
hear.
good.
the Lightkin gear, which I hadn't gotten yet, so it's nice.
yeah.
Right. Yep. And then after you've gotten a full set of gear, it says that after that, when you do that mission, you'll get a piece of seasonal weapon, and it'll have an extra perk. Remember how like we had that? What was it with the? I can't remember what the name of it was, but remember when you had to go. There was a kiosk in the middle, like there were kiosks on different planets, but then eventually you opened up the kiosk in the in the middle of the tower. And do you remember what that was called?
Oh my god, I have no idea what you're talking about. I feel like I'm in a dream right now.
Daniel, Stego, can you help me out here a little bit? I feel like I'm not.
What I don't know where this is.
Yeah.
It was definitely previous, like the season. It was one of the seasons where you had to like go to there was a kiosk, and one of the kiosks was
Visitor
bugged,
center.
and you couldn't get it. Never mind. I feel like I'm not gonna.
You pull off the road and you get a brochure for some of the nearby attractions. Like,
I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called. So now I feel like. But Night Watch was one of the weapons that you got from it, and it gave you an extra perk, and that's where I was going with
Season
it.
of Arrivals with the recaster and the Umbral Ingram.
No. No, it was way before that. It was
Oh.
before that.
Okay.
Way before that.
Was it
No,
like
I'm
Warmind?
Having a
Way
fever dream she
before?
had once.
This is not a fever dream. It actually occurred.
Was
you
it
guys
a
are just not
seasonal
remembering
event?
it. Yeah, it was part of the actual season. It was one of the
Was it
season.
the one with stocks, like the time Osiris and the?
Oh yeah, it might have been.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't. Maybe it was related to that. I don't know if those two were. It might have been that same.
The sundial,
The Sundial season.
Yeah, the sundial. That's what I was saying.
where you got to
It
choose
might have been
the
related
weapon.
to that, but the sundial season, that was like you chose the weapons at the sundial, and this
Yeah.
wasn't related to the sundial. It was related to a different
An early version of the
in that same
recaster.
season, there were
I don't remember the
different.
name of it. I can't believe
obelisks,
you
what are they
guys can't
called?
remember it. You spent
Talking about-
because you could like farm different roles by just depositing crap into that kiosk.
I
in the
really think
center
that it
and
was
then
the sundial
you were-
season, and
mean,
that we're
you're-
correct in this, and that you had stocks that you invested, and then when it was time to cash out, you could cash in for like a bunch of weapons at once.
Yeah, but that was in the tower.
Oh, this was in the Drifter, near the Drifter? He was the
I thought there were
original
different
Umbral
locations.
Underground.
How can you know? None of you remember this.
world.
I can't believe you can't remember.
There were
this.
different It wasn't just in the tower. There were different locations.
Yeah, I'm
There
a
was
little
one on the
confused.
EDZ. There was one on the Tangled Shore.
Yeah,
There was
There
one
was-
on Nessus.
a bunch of those.
Oh, and then there was one and then eventually you opened the one in the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it
Okay,
was.
that's what I'm talking about.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Then
So-
God,
yes.
it does seem like a
Sundial
fever
season.
dream.
It was the sundial.
It was the
season.
sundial season.
So we
The
were
more I
right.
described it, the
Season
more
of
she
the-
she started doubting that I was talking about the right thing.
Do you remember what the season was? I don't remember.
Season
what
of
the
Dawn.
Season was. Boy,
Season
this
of
is-
Dawn.
Season of Dawn.
when we rescued Saint.
What is
Spoiler
this?
tag
So
from over a year ago.
so you're just saying that back then we had a chance to farm multiple roles, and they're going to give us that chance again.
Right, because when you got the there was an extra perk at the end of it. Remember, like instead of just having one perk,
Yes. You can get
on that
two
you get
perks in the
two
last
perks,
slot.
right? And
Yes.
that's what the new gear, the new weapons from the expunge missions, once you've gotten all the gear, will drop with that extra perk slot. So you get to choose from.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
That also happened in Season of Arrival.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, did it?
They had,
Interesting.
yeah, they had the double perk slot in Season of Arrivals.
Yeah, I've
Just quick before we move on to what the final highlight of that TWAB. How do people feel about the high stat armor drops being put in the expunge missions and taken out of the season pass?
I'm fine with it.
You're good with it?
I
I
always
prefer
thought that it
it.
was
I
kind of
prefer it,
strange
definitely.
that when they were available through the season pass, that was just the best armor that I was going to get that season, basically.
Right.
And it was
right.
given to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see you like the random aspect of the stat drops in the mission, and rather than having those fixed rolls come out of the season pass.
Yeah, I'd
The
say
only-
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The the only thing that I miss is that ability to get that, like if you just can't get the legs to drop, no matter what you've tried, like you've done for instance.
Isn't there
I've
a
done
way
the
to
expunge
focus for
mission.
armor at the recaster?
Yeah, but it's not.
You just have to pay up.
Right,
But it's
right.
not high
yeah, I mean
stat
maybe
and it's
eventually
not-
you can
I thought
do
there
that,
was
but it's
high stat.
Well, you can make it high stat. You can focus it to have the
Yeah.
stats that
So
you
that
want
mechanism
to have.
is in the game, I guess. But not until
But,
later. But then again, I usually only used the backfilling for later in the
I think
season
especially
anyway.
now that sunsetting is gone, I agree with Stego that it was just weird that I was guaranteed the best armor I was going to get was just going to given to me for free. I didn't have to earn
Right,
it at
rather
all.
than
I didn't
just-
have any kind of like, oh, I have to go out and get this kind of armor. I have to grind for this armor. I never thought about that during a season, and I kind of like missed
The only
going out
the only
and
effort you
earning my
made
armor.
was,
Yeah.
Right.
was pushing a button.
And then
It's
the
like,
last
oh yay! Now I've opened that. I like that they're opening that what you do get is the ornament, right? That second version of it. Like that's cool,
Yeah.
right? That makes more sense that
Right.
you can unlock the ornaments
Yeah.
after a period of time. So yep.
And then the last thing in that TWAB was fixing Iron Banner, I guess, so that when you turn the tokens in, those two weapons that weren't dropping are now part of the pool again, like they should be.
Yeah. I think it was the shotgun and the machine gun, which are new this season.
And I guess there
weren't
was a
dropping from the.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
They
We
weren't
lost Sally, but
Yeah, you stopped talking.
You know, she just stopped talking.
No, you
no,
didn't.
you know,
I stopped talking
see, we're in the same
because I didn't want
household,
to talk
and
over
she
you.
is like on a 3-second delay with us,
okay.
so it's a little rough. But there's a lost sector reward bug as well. I guess that was occurring. Oh, that would be the exotic drops of the legendary lost sectors.
That's already been fixed by now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
There was
we
a
are
thing
talking
that
in the
was
past
dropping
here.
the prompt.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just dropping the. They're just acknowledging that it was dropping the wrong piece. It like said legs, and people were excited about it because they wanted the new legs, and then it wasn't
It's
legs.
And then
dropping
they
chest
get, like, a
armor.
helmet. Yeah, and dropping. Yeah. There was also something about a way where, like, they put in energy barriers because there was a way to
Oh, yeah,
like
I heard about that.
bypass a bunch of the encounters and get right to the boss or whatever.
Right.
So they
Anything
fixed that
exciting?
so
This
you
is a
can
lot
just
of
run through it.
just,
Yeah, this
you know,
is-
your
this is
run-of-the-mill
not-
bugs.
This is just bug fixes.
Yeah. Just
I thought we agreed no more
Well,
bug fixes.
We've kind of moved on to just talking about what happened in this hot fix.
Oh, hot fix.
Hot
You're talking
fix baby
hot
this
fix.
evening.
Yeah. Hot fix.
3.2.0.6.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, hot fix. They did the lost sector bugs. They fixed the Vault of Glass bugs, so you can't just go in and cheese Atheon or.
What? We were planning on cheesing Atheon. Nah. Yeah, there was something you could go in and
No,
kill
I
him
saw
in
that
Venus
cheese.
or
I was like, that
something,
just
yeah.
looks like even more work. Trying to set that up, trying to set up that certain
Yeah, but
scenario.
once you get it down in the long
like. Why
run,
not just do it normally, right?
you're cutting 6 minutes out of your speed run. Right? To get that Vex
We
Myth.
gotta get on with
Like
it if
what?
we're gonna
You know what?
even cover the stasis changes. Where we could just say, let's not cover the stasis changes.
There are no stasis changes.
Oh,
Before we do talk about the major stasis changes, Path of Burning Steps and Star Eater scales. Does
More bug
anybody here
fixes,
even have
really?
those? I mean, you know?
No.
nay.
I mean, a lot of people
No.
do have those.
But
They're very easy
A lot
to
of people
obtain
do
in the
have
game
them.
if you are dedicated to the game. But no, we don't have those.
And it's amazing how
But these casual players in this Paracasual Destiny podcast have not taken on that
Oh, wait, it
part of
wasn't
the
the,
game yet.
it was the Warlock boots that were fixed, right? That were not the Titan ones.
The
yeah.
Path of Burning Steps and the Star Eater scales were both had
fixes.
some fixes done within this same stasis hot fix. Let's just call it the stasis hot fix because that's basically what it was.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. The Path of Burning Steps kind of became weak.
Do you want to say what the fixes were, or are we just going to say they were fixed?
Yeah.
Well, I need to look at my notes to see what that actual fix was.
All right. While she's looking at her
actually-
notes.
don't
Only
think
grants
any-
buff stacks when encased by stasis. Right, it no
that's right,
longer
yeah.
gives you that buff if you're affected by stasis, but you actually have to be quote unquote encased, whatever that means.
You are harder to slow or freeze with. I'm looking at the Firewalker perk of the Path of the Burning Steps. You are harder to slow or freeze with stasis, and when you break out, you take no damage from doing so, creating a burst of solar energy around yourself.
What's that change?
And when you
You now
break
have to be
out, you
encased
take-
by stasis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Star Eater scales
that-
had nothing
yeah.
to do with stasis. That was just
No,
it was
but
broken, right?
It was. Well, no, I mean
It was
they
just still really
just
powerful.
changed it. They made it was over powerful, and then they changed that to like you have to have 8 stacks to get
Instead
the full
of 4,
benefit.
that's right.
4.
That's the
You have to
one.
be able to pick up
but-
8 orbs instead of just 4 orbs, which is
But
pretty
the
major.
stacks were still only showing
That's
4.
quite a
like you could
nerf,
only
if you
get up
think
to
about
4. So it was kind of a minor.
I don't
like
think
the
that's a minor
second
nerf. I
pass
think it's
It wasn't a
huge.
minor nerf, no, because they did change it. You used to only need 4 orbs, and now you need 8.
And it was not functioning as intended because it's supposed to just increase the damage of your super, and what it was doing was increasing all of your damage while your super was active. So if you had tethered somebody,
Right.
then while that tether was active, then your weapon damage was increased by.
But that was a previous
something.
fix. The fix that they made to this one was just changing.
Then why
the
did we even
stack
bring that up?
location.
We could have just skipped that.
Because it was in the hot fix.
But we don't need to say every single thing in the hot fix. We don't need to read the patch notes on air.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and these
So
are
that's why I'm
exotics
conflating these
nobody owns either. That's the thing.
A
When I say
lot
nobody,
of
I mean
people
nobody here.
Or if
these
don't own it
exotics.
doesn't mean that other people who are listening might have it.
No, but I think it's important to bring these things up because it informs your game playing decisions. Like, am I going to go for the Star Eater scales?
I mean,
well,
these
no, I'm
these
not. I'm going to go do
fixes-
something else now because it takes 8 instead of 4 orbs. Right?
Well, if you use masterworked weapons, 8 orbs isn't that much, buddy.
It's
That's
still.
true.
I mean, compared to 4, I mean, that's a heavy-handed nerf in my opinion. Anyway, just imagine. I don't know because I haven't
it's
used
a
it.
heavy-handed
That nerf
nerf, but
came
it's really
earlier.
not that bad. In all reality, the 4 stack is 55 damage, and the original was 60 for 4 stacks, and now the 8 stack is 70 damage. So it actually almost got a buff.
True.
Think about it.
And you can still just pick up 4 orbs and get the smaller stack.
Right. And again,
You don't
a
need
4
them.
stack gives you 55% increase in damage, whereas the original was 60. So that's
So
even
it's,
not
yeah,
that
it's
big.
just a minor nerf when you look at it that way. A minor nerf and actually incredible buff.
Right, and added right because if you can pick up 8 stacks, you've got 70%. Hop yourself into a well, and man, you're
Yeah.
You're golden.
you can go to
It
town
also-
with it. So
it also increases the number of or rather not the number, but the amount of super energy that you get per orb. And so I haven't done the math, and I haven't seen anybody who does the math who has done this math. But I don't know if you still basically need to collect the same number of orbs in total to like, let's say if you pick up like 30 orbs to charge your super, if we're in the Star Eater scales,
how many
if, like,
orbs it
picking up-
takes to
yeah, if like still picking
you get
up
increased super from.
from orbs passively. Yeah.
It's like
orbs.
Orpheus rigs in a way.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
It's a good
right,
exotic.
let's-
it's a good exotic. It's a powerful exotic. I would be excited
It's a
if
good
I got it.
exotic. You should farm
Okay.
for it if you haven't already, which I haven't.
You filthy
Okay.
casuals.
No,
Hello-
I know.
Has anybody heard about the controversial fast swapping nerf that took place?
I've seen a bunch of videos where people are fast swapping shotguns. I don't know if that's what it's referring to. I
Yeah, and
don't
they nerfed it.
understand it. Good, because I don't understand that style of play and I don't like it.
That was my reaction.
Yeah, that was my reaction too.
I was just like, good,
like,
because
it's
I'm not part of that world, so I don't give a crap.
right. Yeah, I mean, in all reality, it's just I my best guess, because the only reason I felt like we should bring it up is because it was all over Twitter for like a day about how they kind of, I guess you couldn't, because it was mostly like if you had software on your PC where you could like map the keys to being able to do
Yeah,
this
you can do a macro.
swapping
with
really
it,
super
right.
fast, and people were like melting bosses like raid bosses.
I just don't
and
understand
stuff.
why that would work, but
Yeah,
It's a-
yeah, you'd
I-
have to
I
like
call
look
it a
at some
glitch. I'm going
videos,
to call
but-
it what it is.
I think it's a glitch, and I think they should have fixed it.
Yeah.
It's an exploit, and they probably and
They
to be
fixed it, and they
upset
were
about
right to
not
do
being
it.
able to melt a
Right.
raid boss in 30 seconds is I feel like not something you should be
Especially with
complaining about.
cross-platform play come on the horizon, I feel like it was needed. Versus something like, you know how people
Yeah.
would use like a shoulder charge to kind of clamber up onto a ledge in a jumping puzzle or something, and then they nerf that. But then they realized, why'd we nerf it? There's no harm in that. Let's let them have fun with that. So, and then they put it back in. This is a different thing. I think this has to do with cross-platform and also just fairness in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they
my
want,
perspective.
like, they did spend a lot of time designing boss encounters, like how
call
they
me
want it
old
to flow.
fashioned, but I think that you shouldn't be able to melt a boss.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
Controversial
for a
opinion.
given value of melt, right?
Right.
Are you saying that Funny Bone shouldn't be allowed to pull out the old Chaos Reach on good old Tanix?
I'm saying that if they
That's a
wanted
little
to
different,
make
Yeah.
a
you still have
fix
to
where
go
you
through.
needed 3 damage rounds on Tanix, I wouldn't hold it against them.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
No, I'm with you on that. This concept of one phasing, is kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. What's up next, Sally Bug? What do you got for us?
I think we should at least acknowledge that there were major changes to Stasis, primarily in the PvP realm.
Yeah, that was
So
huge. That didn't make it
was
to the
huge.
TWABs, though, did it? That was a whole separate thing.
No, well, they did. In one of the TWABs, they said this hotfix is coming, and then
Okay.
the hotfix came out, and then in the other TWAB, they said the hotfix came live. So the hotfix was like the same day. It was just a couple days ago,
Yeah.
right?
It was on-
Like on
it was on
Thursday.
Thursday.
And I will say this, because the submachine gun in trials, it was the 3 win reward, which means it meant that I had access to it. I went in with our friendly
Sherpa.
clan mate Sherpa. Well, I like call it a Sherpa because we still didn't do very well, but he definitely got all the kills while I stood back and tried to not die.
I didn't get any kills.
And did stasis factor into your trials runs?
And that's what it kind of did, because there were a couple of times when there was someone against us who had stasis, and I totally noticed a difference. Like, I was able to not die from a cold snap grenade or have the other grenade, the
Shuriken?
grenade that makes the wall. Yeah, and the shurikens,
Glacial.
I
The
noticed
glacial
huge difference, almost to a point of maybe it's too weak now.
Yeah, I think
I
that
haven't played
that's
in-
the consensus, is that Stasis is pretty much dead.
Yeah, it was almost it was almost like
Are
a
you-
joke,
are-
right?
They needed to do that, though. I think that was the appropriate
They
response.
did.
They need to nerf it to the ground and then slowly bring it back up,
Yeah.
rather than slowly nerf it
I
to the
agree.
ground.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that it needed to get to a point where stasis, people is oh, this is crap, I'm not going to use this, I'm going to use something else. Let other things rise to the top, and then we can kind of, because their goal is for there to be a balance, right? A balance between all different choices of subclasses. And
They seek
and
to
that
bring balance between the light and the dark.
and just any of the light subclasses being viable. And they realize that some of the subclasses are obviously meant as support roles in more of a PvE, but other than that, they want there to be a variety of choices and a variety of ways to play, so that when you go in to a match, whether it's 6v6 or 3v3, that there's going to be a variety of different guardians.
Well, it's time for
Variety of
spoiler alert.
subclasses.
We have a spoiler alert in the house, and that
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it has to do with the legend of the Saint 14 and a
So
certain
our
cutscene. Have you guys seen that yet?
This is the.
We have.
This
This is
unlocks
the
after
spoiler
you've completed
warning.
it. Yeah.
We're
The quest
going to
this week.
talk about it. So if you have not done the expunge mission or finished I think it's from the path. What's it called? The Path of the Splicer.
Yeah.
5 is when this happens, when you complete that. So if you haven't completed that yet, you may want to stop listening for a little bit.
Put us on mute.
Yep, mute us. We'll talk about it for like probably a few minutes. So,
What'd you think?
what did you guys think of that cutscene? First of all, I gotta say I love this like sepia aesthetic.
Oh, yeah, the animation. Yeah, it's really good.
But yeah, I love this new way that they're doing like cutscenes in general.
Yeah. It's very
great.
good. I mean, outstanding. Very, very artistic. Yeah, that was a weird one there. But yeah, and they're very proud of it too. If you've noticed, they've been using the shot of Saint 14 as a monster, like on everything, like all their social media. And on Bungie.net, it's at the top. It's just, they're very proud of it, and they should be. And I was telling Sally Bug, the cool thing, one of the signs of good art is how it applies. It can apply to anything. You can interpret it any way. And I love how sort of this season's storyline is focusing from my perspective into current events more than the game ever has. And so the alignment is, I know there's some chance there of what's going on in the world, but it just seems like all these issues of choosing sides, who's right, who's wrong, what's good, what's evil, those things are just, it's sort of culminating together. And it's a nice crescendo to what's going on in the world, I thought.
the way they're dealing with
and we
the
talked a little.
politics is very smart. I think like
I
the
think so,
internal
too.
politics with the Vanguard.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and they remember in our last podcast where we talked about the lore from one of the I can't remember from which weapon it came from, but where it was Mithrax and Shax talking, and just like again like two people who were kind of on like come from different races who are on like opposite, but like were their people had a history from the same conflict but from different sides, and just like learning how to move forward with that, like even having that be part of your history. It's just great. It's great storytelling, and it's great. We'll talk about it a little more when we get to the grimoire, our touch of grimoire as well. In addition to that Legend of Saint cutscene, I think we also had an in-game confirmation that Lakshmi has been exposed to Savathun's song.
Yeah, from her message.
Yeah, her
hologram
propaganda.
message.
Something interesting that Greenstego pointed out was that she says the people of the city are singing the song, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is what I
Yes.
said,
And
and that is similar.
That is
and
what she
reflected
said.
in that's a similar thing was said when we heard. Y'all remember when we heard Shax sing?
Yes.
And it was Savathun's song, but he was saying again, like, I've heard the children of the city singing this song. And so, how much of this is these individuals, Lakshmi and Shax, are corrupted by Savathun's puppet strings, and how much of it is the people? And Romance Girl said another thing about it, like, affecting memory, would you say?
Oh, I was just pointing out, well, like, is that how Savathun infects with the song? Is like they think that they heard it somewhere, or did Lakshmi actually hear the people of the city singing it?
Yeah. So is she having like a
Like, is it a false
memory of hearing
memory
it?
that Shax heard children singing that moon song, or
That
you know?
that was what I was thinking. That was my interpretation.
That it's a false memory?
It's like an implanted memory.
That it's a false memory, right? That
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a false memory, but a
manipulated
Kind of how
memory.
Savathun's
Memory?
witchery works.
Yeah.
exactly, right? Because isn't like that's what she does. She's like the trickery, and so has them believe that they've heard other people sing this song, but really it's her infecting her. Like, she's been exposed to the song through the messages that were being sent within, because we got that from the lore, right? That her song was in the communications.
Mm-hmm.
By a code or whatever, so somehow got into her brain, and now she's not quite sure where it came from, but she thinks she's heard the people of the city chant it, or maybe she has heard the people of the city chant it. We don't know.
Yeah.
In which case Savathun's control spreads
Infected
even
the
further than
people, right?
It was
But
just
anyway,
interesting how that both manifested in Shax and Lakshmi in like similar ways, where they're like, the people are singing this song.
Absolutely. So I in all honesty, I just super love this, like, Savathun just being kind of constantly in the background, kind of orchestrating this, this infection, and I love it. It's like, here we have this basic storyline where the Vex have, like, the storyline of the Vex, like, kind of giving us a simulation of endless night, but all along kind of like working her magic in the background as Savathun, corrupting as many people as she can.
Yeah.
It was Savathun all along.
It's awesome. Savathun. And you wonder, like, is there a connection between Savathun and the Hive? And I mean, not obviously the Hive, I meant the Vex. Like, what are those two going to interlace eventually? Because we've figured out that Savathun was able to infiltrate the Cabal, and then and now we can see that she's kind of infiltrated, like, our the Guardian or the Consensus, and she's going to do the same with the Elixni, and is she going to do the same with the Vex eventually? It's great storytelling, and I can't wait to see how it evolves. It's awesome.
Stay tuned for the Witch Queen.
Yeah, just pushing our way. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is actually not like in our show notes, but it came up in our conversations with Ghost while we were getting our butts handed to us in trials. So we just kind of chatting away, running around getting killed. But a lot of people are saying, hey, like, so we've got this season, season 14, we've got next season, which will be season 15, which will start in, like, the end of August, right? Mid to late August. And then I think there's going to be a season 16 before before Witch Queen comes out. But it hasn't been advertised as such because technically Witch Queen was supposed to come out as season 16, but since that has been delayed, they said it was delayed to early 2022. I think there's going to be another season in between the season that comes out in the fall, and then there's going to be a winter season before Witch Queen comes out, like a season for November, December, January.
There would have to be if it's not coming out in 2021 anymore.
Right, rather than having like a prolonged season.
Yeah, a prolonged season of like season of arrivals, but that also continues going into like the dawning. Be a little nuts.
We'll have to wait and see.
We're done with this.
Right.
The important part is we're done with the spoilers.
Mm-hmm. Done with the spoilers.
Moving on.
Yeah.
And this most recent TWAB. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Most recent TWAB also mentioned something about ability kills not progressing in the Iron Banner quest. Is that true?
Yeah, there were a couple of abilities that, like, because it was said if you use your abilities, it progressed the quest, but there were a couple of subclasses where the abilities weren't. I think the projectile melees weren't counting as melee kills.
Right. Okay.
Like any of the subclasses that have a projectile melee versus just a go up and punch melee, those projectile melees weren't counting as melee ability kills.
Sense.
So they fixed that.
Okay.
It was a bug, and they fixed it.
Is anybody excited about the
And
Iron
we already
Banner
talked
weapons?
about the Iron Banner fixes.
Yeah, we talked about the weapons coming back, the shotgun and the machine gun, but
Right, and now that they're accessible to us, I didn't do much Iron Banner last time. I played a few games. I think I got to like the second step in the
you
quest.
quote unquote dipped your toes.
I dipped my toes.
Okay.
And now we get to dip our toes without stasis being like a major thing.
I
So
should make Saladin happy.
Yeah, Saladin's going to be floored. And then finally, another highlight from the most recent TWAB was the fashion show. Sallybug, you want to talk a little bit about the fashion show?
how many people are gonna I don't know if I can be I like the emblem.
It's a pretty dope emblem.
That's actually kind of a cool emblem.
I
So,
saw
it's
that like hashtag Destiny Splicer Fashion or something like that was trending with like 10,000 tweets.
Okay. So there goes my chances.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of
it's kind of like
interest
I
in
love
this.
that. I love that emblem so much, but I don't know if it's like I don't know.
You've
if
got
I
a better
wanna,
chance with a scratch card.
I've never submitted for these fashion show type emblems, but they are very cool.
And it's like if you do you have to win to get that emblem, or do you just have to submit something and they'll give you the emblem?
no, you have
Because if
to
you just have to
win.
submit
you have to be
something,
featured.
okay, then yeah, no. Because everything I see that people show online is like I don't even know how they are able to put all of that together. That's amazing, and I'm not going to be able to beat that. So.
Well, you could just copy them, I guess. But that wouldn't be good sportsmanship.
That's not good sportsmanship at all.
Just throw Neo Pop and call it yours.
Exactly.
This just in. Eva Levante possessed by that Savathun.
Oh,
No.
Somebody in chat says
heard it
she's
here
humming the
first.
tune.
No. Eva Levante?
Yeah.
No.
not my Eva.
That's
Not my
true.
Eva.
This is what
No
we
way.
call this is what we call fake news, right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
fake
It is.
news.
Speaking of fake news though,
But
do you know what it's time
speaking
for?
of- speaking
Guess
of
what it's
Eva
time for?
Levante.
Yes.
A second cup of coffee? Yes.
It's time for Eva Levante's Coffee Emporium. I just got my second cup this morning, and I am enjoying
All right, I'm
it.
gonna go get my second cup.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
Oh no.
It has caffeine.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it is caffeine is probably a much deeper, stronger corruption than that of Savathoons, right? We are
Why are you bringing up
slaves
Sabathun right now?
slaves to the grind, and I can't even tell you what I'm drinking. Sally mixes the beans usually. Sally, what's in this?
Guatemala mixed with a vanilla cinnamon.
Okay, so we have Guatemala with a touch of vanilla cinnamon today. Really subtle. It's mostly Guatemalan, as far as I can tell, taste wise. And this is me talking into my coffee mug. What are you guys having over there, if anything?
I'm having just a quick can of La Colombe triple shot draft latte.
We had a late night last night. Slept in a little bit on this first full day of my summer break. And so needed coffee ASAP. Just reached into the fridge and pulled one out that was ready to go.
It's instant.
It does
isn't
in a
it?
pinch.
It is like instant gratification, is what I would put that under, you know? So we were toying around with the idea of doing a Destiny 2 mod spot with Greenstego, starring Greenstego. I don't know if you've had a chance to pick out a random mod to talk about that you might like or not like.
Kind of. For my inaugural debut Greenstego's mod spot, I was thinking about walking through the armor slots, specifically with how they pertain to the weapon, and like what different kind of mods you can slot into the helmet piece,
Right.
as opposed to the chest piece, because they recently revamped it. You can take a look at the slide that is on the screen right there, and it used to have like enhanced sniper rifle targeting, and they kind of did away with that, and they consolidated things a little bit where there's just sniper rifle targeting, and they have that for like a bunch of them. But
Oh, that's right. Yes,
Anyway.
I remember that.
there's like
I'm actually
Uh-oh.
really curious.
Uh-oh.
I've got a pencil and blank paper like right next to me. I kind of want to know. I'm taking notes.
there we go. See?
Yeah.
So here we go. Greenstego's debut mod spot.
Slop.
Focusing
spot.
on mod slots. In the helmet, we're gonna work our way down.
Love it.
In the helmet.
Okay.
And I'm there's like a bunch. There's a lot going on here. I'm just gonna talk about the weapons, because for each slot there also is like an affinity mod that has to do with whether it's arc or solar or void, and has to do with the abilities, and has to do with sometimes getting super energy or cooldowns. We're not talking about those right now. We're going to hit those up another
But you
time.
will, right?
I will. What we're talking about
Because
right
that's
now,
one of the areas where I'm like completely oblivious. So
Shaw Han-
I'm
Shaw-
looking
just-
forward to that.
Shaw
But
Han
you're
was
talking
useless
about
when it comes to this, so.
yeah,
You're
we
talking
may-
about generalized stuff that can go into any affinity regardless of whether it's solar, void, or arc.
Yes, I am. And these
Excellent.
are going to be like
Good
with
to
a
know.
focus on the weapon. So, in the helmet,
Okay. Weapon
Helmet?
mods. Yep.
you got your head in there. This is where you are taking in information. These mods help you look. So there are two kinds of mods that go in the helmet mod slot. You got your ammo finder perks,
Right. That has to do
Okay.
with sight. Yeah, I get it.
because you're looking for your ammo, and also the targeting.
You're looking for the ammo on the ground. That makes sense.
And
Yep.
targeting is obvious.
Yeah, and the targeting is pretty obvious.
Right.
I basically change out those two based on whether I'm in PvE or PvP. If I'm in a PvE situation, I put on the ammo finder perks so that I can keep my shotgun or the ammo coming for my heavy and special.
Right.
But I like to have like the targeting when I'm in PvP, and that's the helmet.
Right, which makes sense, right? Because it's like you're less likely to run out of ammo in a PvP match, right? The ammo just drops if you kill somebody. The special
It also
anyway.
makes sense because it's the helmet and it helps with your finder or your targeting, which both have to do with like looking
Vision.
Yeah,
Looking
through your
around,
helmet
and that's-
visor.
vision, looking.
That's a good way to remember
Sighted
it.
guardians.
So keep in mind looking, right?
Looking. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I like it.
And targeting
I like
in the
it.
helmet.
Now,
Finder and targeting. Got it.
moving down, arms. Sally Bug, what do you use your arms for in Destiny as it pertains to your
Holding
weapons?
my weapon.
Yes. So basically, you got two things that your arms do: either the ammo, the reloaders,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
the swapping. So like,
Okay.
it'd be like shotgun dexterity, so that if you want to have it be where you can swap over to your shotgun right quick, and bring that up, then that's going to be in your
So
arms.
the that's actually good to know, because that's what I kind of usually just gloss over the dexterity ones because I didn't know exactly what that meant, and now I kind of get it.
Does that
So
essentially add quick draw
and again,
to your weapon?
right?
Basically, yeah.
So dexterity is more of a PvP type of mod, because if you have someone rushing at you and you want to kind of like feel like you can compete against them, if you could quick swap to your special weapon and
Yeah.
shoot them in the
Or if
face
you're
faster
using like
than
a
they shoot
grenade
you in the
launcher
face.
hand cannon combo, you're going to want to be able to switch back and forth.
Yeah, if you've got like a fusion rifle in your back pocket
faster.
that you want to swap to right quick before they get into shotgun distance range,
Now,
maybe you want to put
now
them-
let me. No, and reloader makes sense, right? You just reload that weapon faster. Let me ask you this: if you have on the dexterity, so using Romance Girls, what she was talking about, say you have a hand cannon and a grenade launcher, would you want to have a hand cannon dexterity and grenade launcher dexterity both socketed for the best option there, or which one's better to have?
If
You
you're
have to
swapping back and forth, it might be that you're in a situation where if I'm doing a grenade launcher and cleaning up with my hand cannon, I only need to switch to my hand cannon fast because my grenade launcher, I'm going to need to reload anyway, and that's not going to be for quick situation. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep, it does.
A hand cannon
I'm
used
learning
as
a lot
cleanup,
here.
I'm going to need to switch to my hand cannon a lot quicker because I
Yes. Right. I get it.
You're gonna notice it more with your weapons that have lower handling. So it basically
Gotcha. So
brings up the
it's
handling.
kind of a waste, like, so if you have a weapon that just naturally is weak in that area, these mods help kind of
Yes.
get them back up to compete with others. Nice. I like it.
Yeah. So if you had a quick draw weapon, you'd probably want to go for the reloader perk.
Right. Or if it has like it's like has that perk where the handling is its masterwork.
Yes. And also, I'm going to go back a little bit. The targeting mod found in the helmet
Yes.
also kind of
Yes.
gives a little bit of snapshot sights. It increases aim down sights speed. It's not quite as strong as having that actual perk, snapshot sights, but it
Aim down
does.
sights,
That's a good point.
Speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it bumps target acquisition,
Slightly.
and the auto aim slightly.
But also the aim down sight speed, which is technically handling.
Yeah, handling is bumped into that.
Okay.
All right, moving down to the chest piece. again, you've got like a PvE focused role. This is where you've got your ammo reserves, where if you
Right, because it's what you hold on your body, right? It's where you stow your weapon. It's where you stow your ammo, your extra stuff. So that's scavenger, you said?
reserves.
Reserves.
And just reserves?
Got it.
As well as unflinching. So if you've got like unflinching scout rifle aim,
So the chest keeps you steady.
chest keeps you steady.
Chest
You're taking
keeps
those
you
bullets
steady.
right in the chest.
Oh, right.
But and normally
'Cause
that
you
would
can
cause you a
push
lot
it,
of flinch. But you can
Got
change it
it.
so that it in your chest piece it doesn't do that.
Nice. Liking it.
The legs, continuing our move down, the legs are a little bit less crowded. This is where you have the scavenger perks. So you see the purple ammo brick on the ground, you're gonna run over it to pick up the ammo. The scavenger perk helps you pick up more ammo on your legs.
Okay.
What's
More
the
ammo.
sort of
Scavenger, more
What's the-
ammo. In other words, when
I
you
don't get
pick
it.
up a brick, like, so say you pick up, like, if I have a shotgun whose magazine is like, say, 15. If I have the scavenger perk on, does that mean that I can hold more than 15 on that shotgun?
No, that's reserves. That's in your chest piece. The
Oh, okay. So what
Scavenger
does
is you-
scavenger do?
the scavenger is normally you put on you got your shotgun. you
More
see a
ammo
green brick
per brick.
per brick. Yeah, exactly. You run over the green brick and it says like +3. You put
As
on
opposed to, like-
shotgun scavenger and then it bumps that up to like +4.
Oh, okay.
You put on
get
2
more
shotgun
ammo per brick.
scavengers and it bumps it up to +5.
I'm trying
Nice.
to imagine like how being better on your feet could result in picking up more.
You
Ammo.
run over the ammo brick.
Okay.
You run over it.
So if you enhance your leg armor, you're gonna be more effective picking up the armor when you run over it. Okay.
Yeah, you put special ammo magnets in
Okay,
your
they're
boots.
magnets. Okay, that's what the
Armor magnets.
See, we
Thank
should- we
you.
should
They're
write the
armor
lore for
magnets.
this.
The point
They're
is,
ammo
the point is-
magnets.
The point is, I think of just like running over the ammo. So it's my legs.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So it's your legs.
Okay. I like it.
Wow, that is really well put, and it
Are
makes
there
it easier to
any-
remember where
and
you
there's
need to go
no
for what.
weapon. There's no weapon mods for the class item.
No, the class item is where
Wow,
you're
this
gonna
really is a
see
casual pod.
like finisher mods. the
I'm trying to
the
be thorough here.
the non-elemental ones, and we'll get into the elemental ones like solar arc and void.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so glad
But
we
those
we
those
added
have
this
nothing to do
spot.
with weapons, right? They got rid of
Those
the
have-
affinity
yeah,
for
that-
weapons mods.
I mean, it's you can put on special ammo finisher, which uses
right,
like
but
a quarter.
Yeah,
that-
which is a whole nother. That's like a whole nother
realm.
realm of
Yeah, we'll do that
of
another week.
mods, right?
Do that another week.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is- this
we-
has been great.
We need to just divide this up over the summer, right? I'm going to be like fully mod knowledgeable
Yeah,
by the end of
because
the
Sally
summer,
doesn't use
thanks to
mods because she
Greenstego.
doesn't know anything about them
I
until
don't use
now.
mods because I'm too good.
Yeah, so your helmet helps you look. Your
No.
helmet helps you look.
Yeah.
Your arms help you handle your gun.
Yep.
Your
Your
chest
chest?
piece is where your
Storage.
provides either like armor or
Storage, steady.
Yep.
storage and steady.
Storage and
And then your
center of
legs.
gravity.
And your legs is where you're running over the ammo bricks. That one is a huge
Ammo
benefit
magnets.
in PvP because, like, if you're using a shotgun in PvP, which, like, let's be honest, all of us have tried at least once.
Right.
If you pick up a green ammo brick, that's one shotgun shell. But if you've got shotgun scavenger, that's 2. If you double dip on shotgun scavenger, then you pick up 3 shotgun shells for every
God.
green.
They need to limit special ammo.
They should make it so it doesn't
in
stack.
PvP.
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah, it shouldn't stack. I agree with that.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
and that's it
Well,
for Greenstego's mod spot.
Mod Spot, thank you so much,
I'm loving it.
Greenstego. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking at mods. I want to go play now and put some mods on. That's really.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
See you later. Can you finish off the show? I'll just leave it here. And that brings us to our next section, our next special feature of the Paracasual Destiny podcast. And that is A Touch of Grimoire with your host, Sallybug2. Sallybug, are you there?
I'm here. So I'm just looking at the show notes, and I think I'm gonna not talk about the stuff that were the overview, the interactions, because we talked about that already, and we have people who have requested us not to spoil.
Sure.
So we're not going to
Sure.
talk about
That's
those
a good
things,
idea.
the interactions that happen. But I did want to bring up something that. I'm going to have Stego read our my chosen piece of lore because it does involve Saint 14 because he is
A wonderful character.
featured in in the lore, very much so in the current lore, and also because this also addresses the use of darkness subclasses or stasis in a PvP setting. So, Stego, do you want to read this?
It's the In Memoriam
In memoriam.
Ghost Shell lore. For ghosts who are a beacon of light in this season of the Chosen. The tower hangar had never been a particularly quiet space, but today's din seemed to set record level. The whoosh of jump ships had been near constant as fire team after fire team rolled through on their way to one of many battlegrounds. Luckily, Saint 14 had a voice that could carry over it all. "Welcome, Guardians!" Standing in his usual spot by the Gray Pigeon, he bellowed jubilantly to trial seekers, greeting each and every one as if they were old friends. Underneath his cheer, however, there was an unease. Some internal wire pulled taut by the arrival of the pyramids. Ever since the latest incident in the trials, his tension had increased daily, steadily ratcheting towards an inevitable breaking point. There had been incidents before. That was to be expected when Guardians clashed. The point was to limit those altercations to a controlled environment. Yet lately, Saint wondered whether he really was in control after all. But just as the clouds of doubt began to settle, they lifted when the crowd parted to reveal a familiar gold-hooded figure in their midst. His shoulders seemed a little more stooped without Segura zipping around them, but his purposeful stride, his furrowed brow, these remained the same. "Osiris!" Saint called out. Several heads swiveled in his direction, startled by the sudden shout. Osiris, for his part, merely looked bemused as he changed horse. "What is it?" Osiris asked as he drew closer. "Did something happen?" "No," Saint responded quickly. Too quickly. "Well, yes. A small something. Under control, but..." He was stumbling, unsure how to explain himself. "I sent a message. You didn't get it?" Osiris frowned, impatient. "I've received a lot of messages lately. Was it urgent?" Saint flinched. He didn't know it had to be urgent. "It's about the trials. They are named for you, and now that you're here, I thought it was time you... "Ah, you want me to take over the trials?" Osiris shrugged. "It's not a good time. Shut them down if you're tired of it." "What? No!" Saint hadn't expected this. Not tired. I am worried. There have been... He stopped, suddenly aware of the passersby. He gestured for Osiris to follow him into his ship. Osiris crossed his arm. I'm keeping Lord Saladin waiting. The issue of the Cabal is somewhat urgent, as you can see. I know, but... Saint lowered his voice. But there is a kind of war brewing in the trials, too. Guardians going too far, wielding darkness. Really? Osiris's eyes glinted with renewed interest. To what effect? Saint stared at him. Inside, the wire tightened one more impossible inch. At last, he said, It varied. Interesting. Osiris rubbed his chin, thinking. A datapad at his hip dinged with a reminder. He groaned at it, then turned back to Saint. If it happens again, take notes, will you? Without waiting for a response, he turned away. Saint's iron arm shot out and grabbed him by the elbow. Is that all this is to you? An experiment? Saint spat, trying and failing to keep his voice down. He couldn't contain himself any longer. He'd waited for days for a response, fretting over the silence, but forcing himself to give his comrade space. So what am I then? Your assistant? Just because Sagira is gone? Enough, Osiris snarled, yanking his arm back. Never speak of her to me again. Understand? Saint stepped back, immediately awash in regret. His mind raced. He should say something. Anything to make it better. To put things to rights. But what? Before he could come up with an answer, Osiris spoke. Continue the trials, or don't. But if you don't have the stomach to collect that data, someone should. It could be key to our survival. All of ours. And with that, he strode off. Saint watched as Osiris disappeared into the throng. The tension in him was gone. All he felt now was the agonizing wound left by the wire's snap. Ikora's words from not so long ago echoed in the back of his mind. You know Osiris better than anyone else. Not true. Saint knew him well, but not better than Sagira. And without her around, he wasn't sure he knew Osiris at all.
Wow. Kind of sad.
Well done reading.
Yeah, great reading.
Stego. I was engrossed. And obviously there's a lot of this that, like, this is bringing up what's going on with Osiris in the aftermath of Sagira. But the reason that I wanted to highlight it was, if you noticed in that interaction, they are talking. I felt like it was like Bungie's little way of saying, "Hey, look, we realize there's a lot of darkness going on in PvP, and we're collecting the data." And like be responding to it.
I agree.
So
I think it's there. Yeah.
I feel like they definitely said something and they actually put it in game, which was really.
It's not the first time they've done this with the lore. It's great. I love when they do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like. It's like, yeah, they may have said that they're not, like they may not have said something, but they kind of did. They gave us a clue that's like, look, we know you're using a lot of this in PvP, and we're collecting the data. We know what's going on here. So I liked that quite a bit. I liked that interaction, but also the fact that they's like, yeah, we're aware there's a lot of the darkness subclass going on.
And Osiris is like, yeah, and Satan's like, no, I need answers now.
I know.
Like,
yeah, it really does reflect their personalities really well, right?
It's also like Osiris is like Bungie and Saint's like us.
Yep. Right.
No, this is
we
upsetting.
need to do something about this. And Osiris is like, yeah, just collect the data.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
We'll figure it out. It's awesome. It's so good. So yeah, that was a great piece of lore. I came across that and thought it was kind of appropriate for what was the happenings of this week with Stasis. So,
Very current.
and that's our grimoire.
And that brings us to our final segment, which is the Destiny sound check. On this episode's sound check, I decided to go with it's been a while since we did a piece of music, and in keeping with the Saint 14 theme, sort of, kind of, I think there might be more of a tether between Saint 14 and this piece of music than there is between the current storyline and the Vault of Glass. And this piece is called Corridors of Time. Well, it's actually, there's several bits of music that occur when you went into the Corridors of Time mission. And I forget what season was that in. What season was that? Was that the Sundial season? All
Season
that
of
happened?
Dawn.
Huh?
Season of Dawn, yeah. I think
Yeah, it was the Season of Dawn. It was.
Oh,
and
one season.
who can
Wow.
forget?
Big season.
Well, who can forget the crazy puzzle, the hexagon puzzles that were going on with that? Insane.
Certainly not the people working on it.
No, I think probably Glad still has nightmares. And probably hears this music in his head all
And
the
who
time.
even wears that emblem anymore?
I know. Oh, I'm pulling it out today. So yeah, this is from the Corridors of Time. There's several pieces of music that you hear in there, and this one is entitled Deep Storage. Let's give it a listen. Okay, a little original soundtrack there from Destiny 2. In particular, music that you hear when in the Corridors of Time mission, which I hope comes back someday because that space was so cool. And of course, the music there is credited, the composition's credited to Michael Salvatore, Sky Lewin, C. Paul Johnson, Roden Moav, and Peter Schlosser. And incidentally, Roden Moav, I did a little research on him, and he has been an integral part of the composing team for the music of Destiny 2 since about Forsaken, as far as I could tell, maybe even earlier than that. But he has an amazing website, which we'll link to in the description below. It's really interactive and cool. I would suggest going there. And just a little background, he's an Israeli composer who does work for video games, film, and television. He's composed original scores for various films in Israel and the U.S. and around the globe. His most recent works include work for Bungie, composing or co-composing the original scores of Destiny, Rise of Iron. Okay, so a little earlier than Forsaken. That goes back to Destiny 1. And, of course, throughout Destiny 2. Check him out. And I will also link to Prometheus, where who has a great original soundtrack, Destiny 2 original soundtrack channel that I will also link in the description below. Great source of tunes there that he and his buddies conjure up and post for all to enjoy. I think that wraps it up for this podcast, this week's episode, episode 34. But before we say goodbye, we're just going to do a quick check-in. Anybody have any non-Destiny media consumption, some NDMC to share before we sign off? No?
I've been really loving St. Vincent's newest album. It's called Daddy's Home.
St. Vincent's?
Oh, I like her. I'd like to take that.
Yeah, definitely give it a listen. It's so good.
Yeah. I think Funny Bone actually gave me a CD of hers with a collaboration with David Byrne that was amazing.
That was actually me who gave you that album.
Oh, that was you?
But
it was
I'm glad
really
you
good.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
I did very much so.
With,
absolutely. Yeah. School Time and I watched Ant-Man, continuing our Marvel Universe movie, and it was surprisingly good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the whole comedy, tongue-in-cheek aspect of it.
We love Paul Rudd.
We love
Yeah,
Paul
it was
Rudd,
amazing.
and we love Greg Turkington as well.
Yes, his cameo. It's
Yeah.
so good.
He was the Baskin Robbins manager. That's a perfect role for him.
I think there's extended cut of that on YouTube, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, I'll have to check
is
it
there?
out.
Well,
Yeah.
I might have just
We'll
been
have to check that
rewatching
out.
it on YouTube and laughing. I can't remember.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed that, and we picked back up our Doctor Who obsession and are checking out the newer.
Season
what season
8.
was it? Season 8.
Yes,
We started, which is where Chris Eccleston had departed in the newer, not the most recent Doctor Who
Wait
version.
a minute! It was there were quite a few actors
Iteration.
between Christopher Eccleston and Peter Capaldi. I think quite a few there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Matt
So
Smith
at any rate,
for one.
Next month for School Time's new pod on Doctor Who.
The Doctor Who podcast. Oh gosh, I'm
the
sure
Doctor
it's one of a
Who
million, right?
iterations. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, dipped our toe back in with those. So watched a few episodes of it. It was quite good.
Yeah, that was great. I'm trying to think. What else have we been up to? Not really that much, honestly.
I got something. I'm up to. I'm
What's that?
into. Season 2 of Amphibia has dropped on Disney Plus,
Amphibia.
and it's a
Okay.
Amphibia. There are a lot of amphibians.
It's a magical frog world. Human trapped in a magical frog world show.
Okay.
Great
That
little
sounds interesting.
animation.
Yep. Also, Soul Time, you created a character on a
Oh,
new video game.
yeah,
last
Elder
night.
Scrolls Online. Figure I've got Game Pass now.
Whoa.
Might as well dip my toes in that.
As they say.
Well, we had this is the title of this episode: toe dipping. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online.
Toe dipping.
It's been so long. You know what prompted me is somebody posted a timeline of the Elder Scrolls games and showed how long it's been since they've put out something since Skyrim. And then I thought, well, that's where Elder Scrolls Online has been out, and so the universe has been around and been in the video game world. It's just not recognized as sort of the same. It's an MMO RPG instead of sort of an action adventure, sort of first person action adventure type thing.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. I mean, you have pretty much, at least since Morrowind, had a character and had long obsessions with
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Shoot, you know
that
what?
universe. So.
What?
Skyrim.
Who can forget our Skyrim
I'm sorry, I didn't
Thanksgiving?
hear you, Greenstego. Could you say that again?
This November, Skyrim turns 10,
Yeah, it's hard to
which
believe.
also means
Yeah.
that
The Skyrim Thanksgiving, I will never forget. That was amazing. That was so
Yeah.
much fun.
It was about 10
Sitting in a
years
hotel
ago.
room, creating characters.
Wow, I forgot.
I
I
didn't
think
do
we
any
have to have
Skyrim,
another.
but I
lit-
enjoyed it in the
Pennsylvania
background.
Thanksgiving this November.
Yeah.
I created a character, but I didn't really go very far with it. But I enjoy watching it. I enjoyed watching it through school time.
It was a lot of fun.
That was
I
a
think
lot of
that's
fun.
And I
Today.
think that's it.
And I think that's it for episode 34. Yeah. All right.
34.
Like to thank everybody for tuning in. And Funny Bone, thanks for hanging out with us in the chat today. We really appreciate that. So I would say you can find us here every other Saturday at 11 a.m. on YouTube live. And stop by and say hello, or you can check out the channel and see some past broadcasts. You can also listen to the audio version of this anytime on any podcast platform of your choice. And we do have a slight social media presence on Twitter at this point, so you can find us on Twitter as well. Just search for Paracasual Destiny Podcast, or at Paracasual P is what our moniker is over on that platform. So from me, Soul Time, and from the whole gang here, Romance Girl, Greenstego, and Sallybug, as well as our extended family and clan, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we will see you in episode 35 in 2 weeks. Bye.